Hello, Internet. B.Love Mimosa here. Today I'm going to be reporting for you on an occurrence been happening all over the country. Things I've been picking up stories from different states, Florida, Oregon, North Carolina, and have also heard stories in my local community and talking to local people about disappearing homeless populations. It's very, very curious, and I'm going to go ahead and get started on the local level. For those who don't know me, a few years ago, a group of friends, we got together and decided to start helping people. We started a group that was called still is called the Super Love Heroes, of people who donate their time to go and help others. One of the things, we've been doing is homeless feedings, helping the children at the battered women's shelter and helping those who just, need help, and getting people who want to make a difference involved in people who need a difference made in their life. And, it's been very rewarding for me, giving me a lot of chance to meet a lot of the local homeless population, the people who work in the shelters, people with these other organizations. And once you start putting together the pieces, everything doesn't add up. The creation of the bridge started humbly enough. I remember back when the city council meetings were going on and Laura Miller was standing strong behind the creation of a bridge, of a way to rehabilitate homeless people, get people off of the streets, teach them skills, and have them move on into houses. And it was going to be a transformational center that's going to, turn homeless people into, useful citizens again. And there was a lot of opposition coming from all over the state. People, or all over the city. People thought it was going to attract people to Dallas who were homeless. It's, we're creating a spa for the homeless. I mean, it was ridiculous, the things that were said. And, there's a lot of people who were against it, but regardless, millions of taxpayer dollars were spent on the bridge, and there's, the state, they were going to, work with the state to, help these people out and make a difference in our community. And, and 2-3 years ago, the bridge was sold to a private corporation that's now, receiving taxpayer money for keeping people incarcerated. It's, the original intent that it was created and, what it has become, is a way to kind of sweep the homeless people under the rug so that they're not as visible in downtown. Pretty scary. So during the wintertime, we were doing a homeless feeding with the Super Love Heroes, and I was talking to a gentleman out there, and was talking about how it was getting a lot rougher, and how a lot of people going to Fort Worth and surrounding areas to be homeless. And I found it odd. Here we have the bridge, but apparently since the bridge has now been sold to a private corporation, we even had the police came up to us while we were sitting there giving out food and clothing, and pointed out that someone had left clothes on the sidewalk, and this is private land, and you can't just leave clothes sitting on private land. That's considered littering. And I walked up to the police officer, told him, yeah, those aren't our clothes. Someone just came and dropped those off and left. And they're like, well, they can't stay here, so will you guys go ahead and take these clothes? Thought, it was a little weird. I didn't know what was in those clothes. Are they trying to plant drugs on us? Like, what are in these clothes? But we ended up taking the clothes anyway, because the police requested. They ended up picking it up and carrying it over to our stuff, and just asked when we leave to just take that stuff with us. But it was peculiar that it was private property. Start looking into this more, and lo and behold, it is private property. This was sold to the people of Dallas. It was built by taxpayer money. We built it so that we could take care of the homeless get them into a rehabilitation. And it's shocking to me that something we created as a homeless rehabilitation program is now a private, for-profit business. Sounds much, about the industrialization of the prison complex. And, now people are getting paid for how many homeless people exist. What motives does that give us to fix the homeless problem? It doesn't give us any motives. And so talking back to the individual, and he was talking about once he got involved with the Bridge program, how difficult it's made it for him, because now he can hardly get out. He has to arrange times to leave. He has to have reasons. They basically restrict his freedom because he's ended up in this place that he's homeless, but then, preventing him from doing the things that could help him to get a job, like go out and looking for one. He's got to schedule his time, and according to, their watch. They have certain expectations, and it's really interesting. I mean, I've been homeless myself, and man, I get jobs at the strangest times. You'd never expect. You start talking to someone, next thing they know, they see that you're an intelligent, smart person, and they offer you work, and you get a chance, to go do something. You don't get that when you're locked up. You don't get to meet people, especially when you're locked up by people who aren't trying to help you get off the street, but are instead trying to keep you in the situation that's perpetuating them receiving taxpayer money in the form of profit that they can go then spend for their own pleasure. It's just not right. So anyway, there have been reports coming here across the nation. Heard about people in Gainesville, Florida, Portland, Oregon, missing homeless just disappearing. And cities across the country that are now making it illegal to be homeless. They're tired of dealing with homeless people. They're tired of homeless people existing. So they're now making it illegal and giving them a choice to go into one of these prison-like shelter systems or to actual prison. Those are your two choices now for being homeless. And, it's really a war against people when you look that we've accepted a system that is based upon the reality that there's not going to be enough money for everyone. We have this much pie, and we have this many people who want the pie. The pie is only there for certain people. So by the system, it's, someone gets left out. That's the way it was created. It is not a mistake. These people aren't lazy. These people aren't. You made a system that lets a small bit of people have a life, and the mass majority of people to suffer before the overindulgences of the few. So these people haven't committed a crime. These people preventing these individuals from living their life, that's the crime. Taking away freedom from Americans who've committed no crime because you love a system which is a crime, which does hate people and humanity, and it's an anti-human system which we find ourselves in. And people are starting to find this acceptable, and, instead of, dealing with the fact that we're creating the misfortune that these other people are experiencing through our greed, and then in our own heartlessness imprisoning those people for, the greed's the problem. That's it. The greed's the problem. Share. Get rid of the greed. Help people out. Do something to help someone. That'll solve the problem. Locking people up who haven't committed crimes, sending people to FEMA camps, sending them to, these new systems, it's not going to solve anything. It's creating a bigger problem. And it's a problem that the future generations are going to have to deal with. You create a system that just wants to lock up people, based on, the baby boomers had this happen, where they created a system that they thought would be right, and and that everyone could go to. The next generations, following generations come, and they don't adhere to the same standards of morality, and all of a sudden they find themselves, locked up in prisons because they don't share the same moral ground as the people before them. But it's your children who pay here. It's your children who are going to get punished. God forbid the economy collapse from quantitative easing. Homelessness is already illegal. So this system collapses. Your children, you're all criminals. You're all criminals. So we really need to take the system back and make a pro-people system so that people can thrive instead of, incarcerate others and hurt others because we want to be able to say we can do whatever the hell we want and don't care who, not everyone gets to do whatever the hell they want. Very select few people. But the people who do get to do whatever the hell they want tell you have no right to tell them they can't do what they want when they're locking you up for doing what you want and being the person that you are. They're putting you in jail. They're locking up your children. Yeah. So pretty scary stuff going on. I highly recommend getting involved with the homeless in your community, talking to the people in your community, finding out what's going on, seeing how you can help. Homelessness's cure is compassion. So, get out there and show some compassion on your fellow man, and maybe we can fix this problem together. It seems like it would be possible, but we just have to take a moment and stop and give a damn about someone other than ourselves for a minute and put ourselves in their position and walk in their shoes. So we can make a difference. We just got to do something. B.Love out.